Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go through a few different topics. Let's head straight into it with the first one. And we're starting off with Liverpool considering bid for Ace with a £106 million release clause and Chelsea are keen. You might have been confused by the beginning of that title. Why am I talking about Liverpool? But it's because Chelsea are keen, and we've seen these reports recently. As you can see, it's talking about De Ligt, who is currently at Juventus. Now, the current situation, if we scroll further down, and there's been other people reporting this as well, is that De Ligt currently is in talks with Juventus over a new contract offer. So this is, you know, if he's happy with this contract offer, potentially he takes that, and this is a non-issue. But there is still the potential. Liverpool are apparently going to start pressing him for a move, and Chelsea are basically on standby in that we want him. We've seen interest over the past couple transfer windows from Chelsea, but we can't do anything at the moment. We're currently under sanctions, so we're waiting for this new ownership stuff to be done. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, potentially by Sunday we see the announcement coming out, but that's where we're currently at. So from Sunday onwards, if it's official then and it's not just announced, we may be able to start acting on this. However, if you take a look here, he's currently got a release clause of £106 million. Now that is a lot of money, and personally for me, we don't need to go spending 106 million. We're going to bring in Koundé for about 59 million. Levi Colwill coming up from being on loan at Huddersfield. We've got a few options. You know, we got Ethan Ampadu out on loan if we want to use him. There's other players that we can look to sign that won't cost 106 million. That's 2 or 3 players in that price. So if it's going to be that much, no way do I want us going in for him. If we take a look at some of his stats, you can see he is young, he's 22, so there's so much potential of like 10-15 years worth of a player left in him. Strengths are aerial duels and ground duels, perfect for a centre-back. You can see he can play right-back as well, with no outstanding weaknesses, so very strong already. Average rating over the Serie A season, if we scroll down to over the last 12 months, you're looking at 7.03 in all competitions. Champions League, they weren't too great. Serie A have been, you know, he's been pretty solid. Couple of injuries here and there, but nothing major for us really to worry about. You can see further down here, 85.5 million euros is what Juventus paid for him. So they're not going to want to let this guy go for anything less than that. So I really do think if this deal is happening, it is going to be around 100 million. And personally for me, that's just not what I want to see Chelsea doing. He's made 30 appearances this season, playing 86 minutes per game, so capable of, you know, seeing out a game. 3 goals, 1 assist. If you take a look at the clean sheets, that's 11, so about 1 in 3 they're getting a clean sheet. His personal stats then about 62%, duels won, ground duels about 60, and aerial 64. Very dominant in the air. Those are really good numbers, but for me, it's just too much money. Now, in the future, if he does sign this new contract, he's pushing for the release clause to be lower. So he could end up signing this contract, staying at Juventus for a year or 2. It doesn't really matter. It depends when the release clause kicks in. If it's from that signing of the contract, he could sign the contract and then get signed. I doubt that would happen. It's probably got at least a year, maybe 2 years before the release clause kicks in. And if it's currently sat at, what did we say, 106 million, he wants it lower. I'm thinking somewhere around 80 to 70 million. I think he could possibly have that down to. And then maybe in a couple seasons, Chelsea are in a position where they want to go for him at that sort of price. You'll still have a good decade out of him if he stays there for another 2 years. So it's an option that we can look at. But this season, I don't think it's going to happen. Let me know what you guys think on this one, because I cannot see us going out and spending 106 million on a centre-back. And this article also goes on to say, yeah, Liverpool are interested, but why would he go to Liverpool? They don't need a young defender. They've currently got Van Dijk, Matip, Gomez, Konate. I'm sure there's other younger ones in that squad that I've forgotten to mention. He's not going to get a Van Dijk, Konate in the Liverpool starting team, is he? So Chelsea have space at the back at the moment. We're losing Christensen and Rudiger. So for me, the wise choice would be Chelsea, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. Now, this next story is a bit of a two-parter, but starting off with this one, Frank Lampard is set to use his Chelsea connections to attempt to sign Conor Gallagher this summer. So he's thinking, now this signing for Everton would be absolutely massive. However, I'm not an Everton fan, and I'm a Chelsea fan, and I absolutely cannot be letting this happen. It says Lampard believes he can use his connection to persuade Gallagher to join him at Everton. After the Toffees successfully stayed in the Premier League on Thursday, attention has now turned to improving their squad for next year. Conor Gallagher would be an immense improvement in that squad. We've seen what he's done with Crystal Palace. Everton under Frank Lampard has done brilliantly. They're top half of the form table at the moment. They took points off us and have stayed in the Premier League with a game to go. So he's done brilliantly. I like to see Lampard doing well. However, I'm not going to let him, if it's up to me, be poaching our players. It doesn't go on to say any fee involved. There is in the part 2 of this, so stay tuned. But Chelsea cannot be letting Conor Gallagher go, and I don't think we realistically are going to. When you consider how good of a season he's had, Thomas Tuchel has been asked in press conferences, like, what's the situation with Conor Gallagher? Is he going to be in your plans next season? He's pretty much said, yeah, this guy's going to have a chance to prove himself and get in this first team. So moving on to the second part of this topic then. This is from Hammer's News. West Ham sealing 90 million double signing from Chelsea would be a real statement. And this is coming because they have interest, as you can see down here, in Armando Broja and Conor Gallagher. Now, those are 2 players that I want to see in the Chelsea squad next year. It goes on to mention down here, Broja is going to cost about 40 million if they want to get him, and Thomas Tuchel will demand about 50 million for Conor Gallagher. So that does total to 90 million. Is 90 million, a good amount of money for these 2 players? Yeah, that would be brilliant. However, if they're going to play hardball with Declan Rice, a player that we want, we're going to have to be playing hardball with these players. If they want Conor Gallagher, let's say he's worth 75 million. Armando Broja, it says worth about 40 on this, let's say 60, 70 million. Because we have no obligation to sell these players. These players, I think they do have a path to the first team now. That they've started showing themselves. Probably Conor Gallagher a little bit more, because Broja had some moments this year at Southampton where he looked good, but definitely wasn't hitting crazy numbers. Conor Gallagher will get into this team next year. Broja, I'd like to see him involved because he's coming up through our youth system. Seeing players like that come into the first team is always great. You always get a lot more passion, work rate, so as we're seeing with Mason Mount and Reece James and such. So we cannot be selling either of these. And even if £90 million is a good amount of money for them too, to me it isn't worth it when you've got the opportunity for a new owner to come in, really get the fans on board by bringing some of these, younger academy players up into the first team, and focus on spending money on positions we really need to improve on, such as the centre-back position. So for me, do not sell either of these. This is my official warning to Thomas Tuchel and Todd Bowley. Do not sell Conor Gallagher or Armando Broja yet. In a few years, maybe they don't hit the heights we think they will. That is going to be the end of the video though, guys. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like on it, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you stay up to date with all future videos. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.